What's up, Calimesa? Coming up, big changes are happening at 4th Street Park, or should I say Mountainview Park. Construction is underway, pickleball is coming, and today we're diving into all of it. I've got photos, a sneak peek video, and the backstory on the park's expansion. Plus, if you've never played pickleball before, stick around. I'll walk you through the fastest growing sport in America. Let's jump in.
This is the Calimesa Insider Podcast, the original Pass Area City podcast, focusing on the ins and outs of your city government at work. And now here's the host of Calimesa Insider, City Manager Will Kolbow.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Construction is in full swing on the expansion of 4th Street Park, which will be rechristened as Mountainview Park when the expansion is complete. I'll provide you an update on the park, including construction progress photos, a video rendering of the completed park, and a bit of history on 4th Street Park. The centerpiece of the expansion are 4 new pickleball courts, a sport that's really taken off in the last 5 years. If you don't know what pickleball is or how to play it, this is the episode for you as well, as we will dive in to the fastest growing game in America. But before I get to that, I do want to take a moment to thank a member of our community who took the time to thank us for our prompt response to his concerns. A neighbor of Summerwind Park reached out to me to let me know of some dead trees that were near his property and some other maintenance issues within the park. Our public works crew, working with the city's landscape architect, quickly addressed the problem. Here's part of what we wrote, or what he wrote, so we don't give away his identity or where he lives. I'm writing to express my sincere appreciation for the recent cleanup of the park, Summerwind Park, bordering my property. A few weeks ago, I had reached out about a few areas that needed attention, and I was so pleased to see the work completed. The park looks wonderful, and your team's efforts have made a real difference. He goes on to say, I know that in your line of work, you probably hear more complaints than praise, so I want to make sure I took a moment to share some positive feedback. Your attention to these matters has not gone unnoticed and is very much valued. Thank you again for your dedication to our community. I'm not sure if this gentleman listens to the podcast, but if you do, thank you for taking the time to reach out. We do these types of things all the time, but usually our only feedback is silence, which we take to mean that the problem was resolved to the customer's satisfaction. But really, the credit for this goes to our hardworking and dedicated public works team. So big kudos to them and all of our staff that goes 100% every day for this community. Now, speaking of community, one of the primary things that people think about when they think about a city is parks. And this is an area that we've been working to improve. Right now, the city of Calimesa has 3 parks. Our first city park is Creekside Park, located at 950 7th Place. Our newest park is Summerwind Park, located at 1000 Engelman Drive. And finally, the park we are going to focus on today is currently known as 4th Street Park, located at 960, you guessed it, 4th Street. Right now, 4th Street Park is about 3.2 acres in space and includes a picnic gazebo, playground, dog park, an open grass play area, a parking lot, and restrooms. The work we have underway will add another 2 acres to the park and complete the original vision of the park. Now, the land for 4th Street Park consists of 2 parcels. The eastern parcel, located on 4th Street, was acquired in 2007. The city had applied for a grant to acquire the western parcel, but was unsuccessful at the time. However, the city did acquire the western parcel in 2011, but by then, the park had already been in design. So as you can see, the dog park is in the western parcel and was kind of an add-on, but the intent was always to have a park that spanned from 4th Street all the way west to 5th Street. Now, the city received a grant for 4th Street Park in the amount of $2.8 million through Proposition 84, passed by California voters in 2006. The contract for design for Phase 1 was awarded in February 2011 to JDC Landscape Architects and Planners. Construction for the park was awarded in October 2013 to Hamel Construction. A groundbreaking ceremony took place on January 9th, 2014, and the park was dedicated on May 19th, 2015. Now, several years later, the Parks, Trails, and Community Services Commission got to work on planning for Phase 2. The commission held workshops in October and November of 2021, and the concept for the build-out of 4th Street Park included 4 pickleball courts, walking trails, an adaptable sports area, restrooms, a maintenance shed, and a parking lot. The plans for the park were completed by RHA Landscape in early 2024, and a construction contract was awarded to Three Peaks Corporation in May of 2024. Additionally, a modular restroom from Public Restroom Company was also awarded at the same time. Construction got off to a slow start due to delays from SCE, but so far the modular bathroom has been installed, which includes the maintenance shed, along with electrical conduit, pathway lighting footings, decomposed granite or DG, pathway curbs, about 85% of the DG, storm drains and underground storm chambers, irrigation controls, mainline irrigation, and 50% of laterals. You can also see in the outline of the pickleball courts, which are still to be installed, along with the fence posting for the courts and the trash enclosure. Now, at this point, we are looking at a completion of January 2026. Now, here's a video that was prepared by our landscape architect, which is a rendering of the completed project, with apologies for those listening to the audio-only version of the podcast. Take a look. So, as I stated previously, 4th Street Park is going to be renamed. This fact bothered some people in the community who thought it was a waste of time to rename the park. However, it wouldn't make sense to people if 4th Street Park was also on 5th Street. So, therefore, in 2023, the city did a survey to seek a new name, and the city council decided to go with Mountainview Park. The 4th Street Park sign on 4th Street will be replaced when the expansion is completed. Now, pickleball is a prominent part of the park expansion and is a sport that has been growing in popularity. In fact, it grew 220% from 2020 to 2023 alone, having about 13.6 million participants in the United States. So for those that are uninitiated, and I'm not far from that, having only played a few times in my life, let's talk about this rapidly growing sport. And we'll start with a bit of background. Pickleball was invented in the summer of 1965 on Bainbridge Island, Washington, by 3 dads, Joel Pritchard, Bill Bell, and Barney McCollum. The story goes that Joel and Bill were looking for something their bored kids could do. So they grabbed a few ping pong paddles, a plastic ball, and lowered the net on a badminton court in Joel's backyard. They improvised the rules and created a game that was fast-paced, easy to learn, and fun for all ages. As for the name pickleball, there are 2 origin stories. One is that the game was named after the Pritchard's dog Pickles, who would chase the ball around and run off with it. The other is that it came from the term pickleboat, which is used in crew rowing, when you mix leftover rowers from other teams, a nod to the sport being a mix of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. Regardless of which is true, the name stuck, obviously. The sport quietly grew through the 70s and 80s, but in the last decade, pickleball has absolutely exploded in popularity, especially with older adults and retirees. But don't let that stereotype fool you. Younger players and even pro athletes have jumped on board. As of 2024, it's the fastest growing sport in America for the third year running. So, why is pickleball so appealing? First, it's easy to learn. Most people can pick it up within 15 to 30 minutes. The court is small, about a quarter of the size of a tennis court, which means less running and a more accessible game for people of all fitness levels, including yours truly. Second, it's social. You play either with one-on-one or in doubles, so it's easy to chat, laugh, and meet new people. Third, it's competitive without being intimidating. Players can go from casual backyard fun to highly skilled tournaments, but the learning curve isn't as steep as tennis or squash. And finally, it's inexpensive. All you need is a paddle, a few plastic balls, and a place to play, which Calimesa will now have right here at Mountainview Park. So let's break down the game. If you've never seen a pickleball game, imagine a blend of tennis and ping pong played on a small court with a solid paddle and a wiffle-style ball. Now, here's a basic rundown of the rules. The court is 20 feet wide by 44 feet long, the same size as a badminton court. The net is 36 inches high at the sidelines and 34 inches in the center. Players use paddles about twice the size of a ping pong paddle and a perforated plastic ball with holes. Serves must be underhand and go cross-court diagonally. They have to clear the net and land beyond the kitchen line or non-volley area. And remember, you can't volley right away. Both teams must let the ball bounce once on each side before they can start volleying, which is a hit without a bounce. Now, the kitchen, or the non-volley zone, is the 7-foot zone on either side of the net. You can't hit a volley, a ball in the air, while standing in the kitchen, even if your foot is just barely touching the line. You can go into the kitchen and hit a ball that bounces, but you have to get back out before volleying again. So after the double bounce rule is satisfied, players are free to rally. Ground strokes or volleys, just don't step into the kitchen during a volley. Points can get fast-paced when players are at the net, especially in doubles, and this is where quick reflexes come into play. Now, pickleball is usually played to 11, win by 2, but only the serving team can score points. If the receiving team wins a rally, they don't earn a point, they just win the right to serve. Now, scoring in singles is pretty straightforward. The server calls their score first, then the opponent's. But in doubles, this is where things get a little more complicated and often confusing for beginners, and I can tell you I struggled with this. In doubles, scoring is called using 3 numbers. First, your team's score. Second, the opponent's score. And third, the server number, either 1 or 2. So if you hear somebody call out 4-3-1, that means your team has 4 points, the other team has 3 points, and it's the first server on your team. Here's how it works. Each team gets 2 serves per turn, 1 for each player, except at the very beginning of the game when the first team only gets 1 serve to keep things fair. Now, if server 1 loses the rally, then server 2 steps in. If server 2 loses the rally too, then the serve goes to the other team. And when the serve changes teams, whichever player is on the right-hand side becomes the new server 1. The server number is reset each time possession changes. So, for example, let's say you and your partner are serving. You have 6 points, your opponent has 5, and you're the second server. You would call 6-5-2. When the serve switches to the other team, the first server on the other side might call 5-6-1. Now, it sounds like a little like bingo at first, but once you've played a few games or watched a match on TV, that's how I actually learned it. It clicks. So don't worry about it. Beyond the rules, pickleball has a unique and friendly culture. It's common at public courts for players to rotate in and out if all courts are full. You often see paddles lined up on the fence. That's the cue. When a game ends, new players step in, often mixing and matching skill levels. There are also leagues, tournaments, and meetups, including beginner-friendly ones. And once our Calimesa courts open, you can expect to see that kind of social atmosphere grow right here in town. So there you have it, a crash course on pickleball, the fastest growing sport in America. It's fun, it's social, It's active, and soon it'll be available right here in Calimesa. With 4 new brand new courts coming to Mountainview Park, we're opening the door to a new way for neighbors to connect, stay active, and enjoy some friendly competition. If you've never played before, come try it out. And if you're a seasoned pro, we can't wait to see you out on the courts. If you want to try it out before our courts open, Ukaipa has pickleball courts. And if you have your own net, we added pickleball striping on the basketball court at Creekside Park with enough room for 2 courts. So with that, we will wrap up the show. Don't forget to join us every Friday for our Friday Food Roundup from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We will be at 1103 Calimesa Boulevard tonight, July 25th, and we'll be at Summerwind Park next Friday, August 1st. Our City Council meeting will take place on Monday, August 4th at 6 p.m. at the Norton Younglove Senior Center, 908 Park Avenue, right here in Calimesa. You can attend live in person, or you can watch live or on demand on the city's YouTube page at calimesa.gov/YouTube. Like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Calimesa Insider, all one word. Until next time, I'm Will Kolbow. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching and listening.